Hello.
And welcome.
I'm Phil.
I'm Sophie.
And this is the Philosophy Podcast.
We're back for the second deep dive in our new series, A History of Western Philosophy. Our guide for this journey is Frederick Copleston's really comprehensive A History of Philosophy.
It's a fantastic starting point.
Absolutely. And we're supplementing it where needed with other, more focused sources like Guthrie's work specifically on Pythagoras, just to give you the fullest picture possible.
And as always, you can find all the sources listed in the description below.
Right. So last time, we kicked things off with the early Milesians.
Yeah, the ones who started looking for natural explanations for things. A big shift.
Exactly. They really set the stage for Western thought in that sense.
And today, we're taking a fascinating leap, I think, into a figure who is far more enigmatic, Pythagoras.
Definitely enigmatic.
This deep dive, it's going to uncover a really intriguing blend of philosophy, deep religious belief, and some pretty groundbreaking mathematics.
Sounds like a lot to unpack.
It is. It's a journey into a mind and a movement, really, that shaped so much of what came after.
So, after the Milesians, who felt relatively straightforward in comparison, trying to understand Pythagoras feels different, more complex.
It does.
What exactly makes pinning down his actual ideas such a unique challenge?
That's a great starting point. Because unlike the Milesians, Pythagoras didn't just have ideas. He founded a school, a kind of brotherhood that kept going and evolving for a good 2 centuries after his death. And that makes attributing specific doctrines directly to him incredibly difficult. There are a few key reasons why.
Okay.
Firstly, Pythagoras himself became almost, deified, certainly after his time, maybe even during it. He was surrounded by legend.
The hero worship effect.
Exactly. This haze of legend just naturally blurs the line between historical fact and, myth.
Makes sense. What else?
Secondly, there was this really powerful tradition among his followers, the Pythagoreans, of attributing all doctrine back to the word of the master.
So even ideas developed later.
Yes. It wasn't just about honoring him. It seems tied to their religious view of truth. For them, scientific discovery and religious revelation weren't necessarily separate categories. So a teaching emerging decades later, still likely ascribed to Pythagoras himself.
Right, blurring the timeline.
Precisely. And finally, there's the issue of secrecy. Some teachings were considered highly secret, sacred even.
Okay.
So ancient writers often either didn't know the full details or were perhaps deliberately obscure. When truth isn't freely shared, you get omissions, distortions, rumors filling the gaps.
That explains a lot. And adding to that difficulty, the sources we have from his own time are surprisingly few, aren't they?
Very scarce. We're talking just a few mentions from people like Xenophanes, Heraclitus, Herodotus. A lot of what we think we know comes from much later writers, writing centuries after Pythagoras lived.
And they had their own agendas, presumably.
Well, yes, and they often loved the marvelous, the mystical elements. They sometimes mixed earlier and later Pythagorean ideas together, or even read things back into Pythagoras that really came from Plato or Aristotle.
So it's like trying to piece together a puzzle with half the pieces missing and the other half possibly belonging to different puzzles altogether.
That's a pretty good analogy, actually.
Yeah.
It is a historical puzzle.
So given all this, who can we rely on, even cautiously?
Aristotle is probably our best bet for early, detailed, and critical information, even though most of his specific works on the Pythagoreans are lost.
Right, we only have fragments or references.
Exactly. But even Aristotle, who was clearly trying to be analytical, often spoke generally of some Pythagoreans. He seemed aware of the different strands within the school and the myths surrounding the founder. His caution itself tells you how tricky it was even back then.
Okay, so understanding who Pythagoras was is a challenge in itself. But let's try to sketch him out. He lived around the same time as Anaximenes, right? But he started something very different.
He did. Roughly contemporary, yes, but he inaugurated a distinctly what we now call Italian philosophical tradition, separate from the Ionian Milesian one.
And he wasn't just a thinker.
No, not just a philosopher in our modern sense. Copleston describes him as a religious and political teacher. He founded an actual organized society, a brotherhood, aimed at living according to his specific teachings. He migrated from his home island of Samos to Croton in southern Italy.
And in Croton, he became influential.
Immensely so, according to the sources. They talk about his eloquence, how he won over the leading citizens, even gave specific addresses to the youth. But this power, this influence, it didn't last.
What happened?
Their intense secrecy, maybe an air of superiority, it eventually led to a backlash. A major revolt, known as the Solonian Conspiracy, rose up against them in Croton. This led to persecution, the burning of their meeting houses, and the dispersal of the Brotherhood across Magna Graecia and Greece itself.
So the school was scattered.
It was. And tragically, the tradition holds that much of their knowledge might have been lost then, precisely because it had kept so secret within the group.
Which, again, makes understanding the original teachings even harder for us now.
Exactly. It compounds the problem.
Let's shift focus then from the history and the structure to the core ideas. You said it was a way of eternal salvation. What did that mean for them?
Fundamentally, it seems the aim was purification of the soul to escape the cycle of rebirth and achieve a kind of union with the divine.
Okay, so reincarnation was central.
Absolutely central. They held a strong belief in the universal kinship of all living things, plants, animals, humans. And underpinning this was the doctrine of transmigration, metempsychosis, the immortal soul moving from one body to another after death.
And this belief in kinship, it directly influenced their famous rules, didn't it? Like the beans.
Exactly. The prohibition against eating beans is perhaps the most famous. The reasons given vary. Maybe they believed beans contained souls of the dead, or were linked to decomposition, or even resemble human embryos, linking them to the primal stuff of life.
So not just a random food rule.
Definitely not. It stemmed directly from that deep belief in kinship. The same goes for abstaining from animal flesh. If souls could be reborn in animals, eating meat risked consuming a relative or at least a fellow soul.
This whole set of ideas, transmigration, avoiding meat, it sounds quite different from other Greek thought at the time. Where did it come from?
There's been much debate about where these ideas might have originated.
Okay.
Some scholars look at these ideas, transmigration, not eating flesh, and see strong resemblances to ideas from India.
India, like Hinduism or Buddhism.
Exactly. Traditions like Jainism and Buddhism also emphasize nonviolence, vegetarianism, rebirth cycles. The parallels are striking.
And Greece was connected to the East through trade routes.
It was. So the possibility of influence, maybe direct, maybe indirect, is definitely there. It's an intriguing thought.
It is their solid proof.
Well, that's the counter-argument. While the similarities are there, actual hard evidence for direct influence is thin. Maybe non-existent. The resemblances might be too general to say for sure it was direct borrowing. Plus, ancient writers sometimes like to say Greek thinkers travel east, to give them an air of ancient, mysterious wisdom. It wasn't always historically accurate.
Right, adds a bit of mystique.
So the connection is debated. Fascinating parallels. But the jury's still out on direct borrowing.
Okay. But whether it came from India or arose independently, the core belief for the Pythagoreans was this kinship.
Yes, the kinship of all life, this deep connection between humans, animals, maybe even plants. That's the bedrock.
And that explains the vegetarianism and the transmigration doctrine. It all fits together.
It does. It's a profoundly interconnected view of the world.
So philosophy wasn't just thinking, it was doing. It was a way to purify yourself.
Precisely. Pythagoras apparently was one of the first to use the word philosopher, lover of wisdom. And for him, philosophy was a purification.
A way to get off the wheel of rebirth.
That seems to be the idea, to escape the cycle, transcend mortal limits through knowledge, discipline, and this specific way of life.
How was philosophy the path to that?
The idea was that by contemplating the cosmos of the universe, its mathematical structure, its regular movements, your own soul could become cosmos, well-ordered, harmonious. Philosophy, especially mathematics and astronomy, was the way to tune your soul to the divine order of the universe.
Tuning the soul, that leads nicely to the idea of the soul as harmony, which is often linked to them, but it's not straightforward, is it?
No, there's a crucial distinction. Plato, in the Phaedo, had Simmias present an idea of the soul as a harmony or attunement of the physical parts of the body, like the harmony of a lyre produced by the tension of its strings.
And if the body, the lyre, is broken, the harmony disappears.
Exactly. That view makes the soul mortal, dependent on the body. Now, while some link this view to figures associated with the Pythagoreans like Alcmaeon or Empedocles, the core Pythagorean view seems different. For them, the soul wasn't just a result of the body's physical state. It was an immortal entity in itself, a harmony of numbers. Its essence was mathematical, divine, reflecting the ultimate reality of number, making it indestructible.
So the harmony isn't physical, it's metaphysical, number-based.
Precisely. It connects to a deeper idea, maybe of two souls. The lower, breath soul connected to physical life, and the higher immortal daemon, the true self, which is this divine numerical harmony seeking liberation. This concept profoundly influenced Plato's own view of the soul.
Let's move from the soul's harmony to the cosmic harmony. This is where we get to that really famous, audacious idea. Things are numbers.
That things imitate numbers. Yeah, this is arguably their most influential contribution to philosophy and science. The idea that the fundamental reality of the universe isn't earth, air, fire, or water, but number.
Where does such a radical idea even come from?
The tradition holds it originated with a specific discovery, a kind of flash of inspired insight related to music. Pythagoras, or at least his school, discovered that the concordant musical intervals, the octave, the fifth, the fourth, could be expressed as simple ratios by measuring the lengths of vibrating strings on an instrument, like a lyre or a monochord. An octave is a ratio of 2.1, a fifth 3.2, a fourth 4.3.
So something beautiful and qualitative, like musical harmony, had a quantitative mathematical basis.
Exactly. It was a stunning revelation. It showed an underlying mathematical order in the world of sound, something seemingly intangible.
That must have felt like unlocking a secret code of the universe.
It probably did. And from this specific discovery, they made an incredible leap, a generalization. If musical harmony is based on number, perhaps the entire universe is fundamentally a harmonia and a number.
The whole cosmos structured by numerical proportions.
That was the idea. They extended this to geometry, associating numbers with geometrical figures. A point is 1, the basic unit. A line needing 2 points is 2. A surface, like a triangle, defined by 3 points is 3. And a solid, like a pyramid, needing 4 points is 4.
So numbers weren't just abstract concepts. They were the building blocks of space and matter.
In a sense, yes. They had a more concrete spatial view of number than we often do today. This wasn't just mysticism. It laid the groundwork for mathematical physics. The idea that the universe is quantifiable and understandable through mathematics, it's a monumental shift in thinking.
And their picture of the cosmos, their actual astronomy, was equally radical for the time, wasn't it?
It really was. Forget Earth being the center. The Pythagoreans were apparently the first Greeks to displace Earth from the center of the universe.
So what was at the center?
A central fire. They called it the hearth of the universe, the home of Zeus, the mother of the gods, a place of primary importance.
And Earth?
Earth was a planet, like the sun, moon, and the other known planets, orbiting this central fire. Our turning relative to this fire explained day and night.
There was something else too, wasn't there? A counter-Earth.
Ah, yes, the antithon. They proposed another body, the counter-Earth, orbiting the central fire opposite us, always hidden from our view.
Why? That seems speculative.
Well, the reasons given are fascinating. Firstly, it brought the number of moving heavenly bodies, sun, moon, earth, counter-Earth, the 5 known planets, and the sphere of fixed stars orbiting the central fire, up to 10.
And 10 was special.
10 was the perfect number for them, the decade. It had deep mystical significance. So cosmology had to fit the perceived perfection of mathematics.
Okay, a mathematical reason. Any others?
Yes, possibly a scientific one. Some think the counter-Earth helped explain the frequency of lunar eclipses by providing another body that could block the central fire's light from reaching the moon. And this whole celestial setup led to another famous Pythagorean idea, the harmony of the spheres.
The music the planets make.
Essentially, yes. They believe these huge celestial bodies, moving at immense speeds, determined by their distances from the center distances, which were in musical ratios, must produce a sound, a noise of surpassing loudness. A cosmic symphony.
But we don't hear it.
Right. We can't hear it because we've been hearing it constantly since the moment we were born. We lack the contrasting silence needed to perceive it. It's like someone living by a waterfall, eventually tuning out the roar. Except, tradition held, Pythagoras himself could hear it. Being semi-divine, he wasn't subject to the same limitations as ordinary mortals.
He could hear the music of the cosmos. That's quite a claim.
It certainly elevates him.
So we have this universe, this cosmos, born from number and harmony. How did they think it actually came into being? What was their cosmogony?
It ties back to that idea of limit in the unlimited. They seem to have believed that the universe at its beginning sort of breathed in void, or the unlimited, the operon from outside itself.
The aperon, like Anaximander's concept?
Similar, yes. Representing the boundless, the indefinite, both in space and maybe duration. The creation of the cosmos, the ordered universe, happened when limit, embodied by number, order, form, regularity, was imposed upon this formless unlimited.
So Order, structure, and chaos.
Exactly. This process separated things, defined them, created the ordered structure we see. And importantly, this imposition of limit also created time itself, transforming the indefinite flow of the unlimited into the measured, rhythmic cycles of days, nights, seasons, years.
It's such a grand vision order emerging mathematically from the boundless unknown.
It really is. And when you step back, you see Pythagoras' contribution was just so unique. This audacious synthesis of deep religious belief, a demanding, disciplined way of life, and this rigorous mathematical and scientific inquiry. And his lasting impact, especially as Copleston and Guthrie emphasize, on Plato is just enormous.
How so specifically with Plato?
Well, Plato was searching for moral certainty, for objective standards in ethics, and he found in Pythagoreanism a metaphysical basis for this. Ideas about the immortal soul, its purification, the importance of order.
The mathematical structure of reality.
Exactly. The idea that true reality lies beyond the senses, in the realm of mathematical forms, the importance of mathematics for training the mind, the structure of the cosmos reflecting divine order. These are all deeply Pythagorean themes that resonate throughout Plato's dialogues.
So calling the Pythagoreans a determining influence on Plato is really significant praise.
It's huge. It means that much of Plato's philosophical project, which in turn shaped so much of subsequent Western thought, has Pythagorean roots. Their ideas about number, soul, and cosmos continue to echo for centuries. So, for all of you listening, we hope this exploration of Pythagoras sparks some new thoughts, maybe helped you hear some hidden harmonies.
We hope you'll tune in again next time as we continue our journey through the history of Western philosophy.
Until then.
Until next time.